Time for some art fun. Today, we're going to have episode 2 of my ginormous sketchbook tour, so stick around. So what we learned from me trying to put this together is that I don't know how to count. And please remember, I was doing all of these sketchbooks thinking no one would ever see these but my loved ones, my husband. He's not an art person. Like, why would he be forced to do this? So he was like, can't you find people who are as into this as you are? And I was like, I know where those people are, YouTube. But that wasn't for a very long time. So one thing you're gonna bear with me on, please tell me you will, is that these aren't gonna be making any sense, the numbers, but that's just because I wasn't paying too much attention to that. I was just excited when I would fill a sketchbook and I would throw a number on it based on wherever I thought I was. And that led to a lot of misnumbered sketchbooks. So number 8 is the next one. It is a soft cover. And I really like the paper. It's just not my style. I don't think I would do it again. So this one begins, and it notes that I also completed sketchbook number 7, which we went over first episode. So I'll link to that. Obviously, I'll link to the whole series. And this was from August 25th, 2020 to November 9th, 2020. I had 2 other big sketchbooks going at this time. A whole Inktober that I completed in October, and then a whole Arteza for sketchbook number 7. So it starts with this bear, and this, I did a lot of ink. A little baby bear. Cute little stuffed animal panda bear, a little cupcake, a couple of eyes, a couple of lollipops, some kiwis. I really loved this. This is just blue pen, white pencil, and black ink. Another girl looking past a door. My husband with his hair on fire. What really happened is I didn't want to draw his hat, so I just made his hair on fire. Girl, this has a little gouache. This paper doesn't really love, it's a little thin for this. A little sort of Dracula type figure. A not super well done landscape. Really weird and creepy faces. If you watched last time, you know that's like a thing for me for some reason. Some people. Little Shih Tzu. Another little bunny. Ellexson and a color wheel. Doing another little Shih Tzu, little angel Shih Tzu. I actually love that one. It's so cute. Another person, and then that was the last page. Why I do art, the end. So that's it for what I can show you in sketchbook 8. One of the reasons that this one was a favorite, and look how fat that is, it's like, ooh, is because I was doing a lot of Denise Soden from In Liquid Color, but I didn't even reach out to her to ask for permission for this because I had bothered so many people. So we are going to skip her pages, but just know seeing someone who just like let themselves do animals and didn't try to fight it was a huge inspiration. November 10th to December 22nd. So that was another really fast one. That's just an owl with a blue background. I love owls, if you can't tell, because I do them all the time. My new Schminke paints. This is an original lady. I just think she's so pretty. This was one of the first watercolor portraits I was really happy with. There were a couple of them in the Pentalic one, but this was always like a rare treat when I did something I actually liked back then. I did this little baby from a photo. I did this little baby. It's my puppy. I think that's super accurate, actually. I mean, you see him in my videos. What do you think? You see it? So cute. I love that one. This is an original portrait. It's super pale, but I loved this one. Test pages, fairly aesthetic. I mean, I'm trying. I'm trying. I did this little guy with my Da Vinci paints when I first got those Da Vincis. An original landscape. Didn't mind that one. It was a lot of fun to do. This is an Anca Pora original. She's an amazing artist here on YouTube that I'm going to link in my references playlist. You'll see linked in the description every single artist that gave me permission to show a page where I copied, like this one. This is just a straight up copy from one of her videos. And there were about 10 or 11 artists who did that, and I'm going to link them and at them and share the link of this video so they can all see and comment if they want to. But this was her painting and I just loved it so much I wanted to put it in my sketchbook. And this is certainly inspired by her, but that was technically an original, but you can see who I'm watching on YouTube when I do something like that. This is a Leigh Ellexson painting. She's another one who gave me permission to show you, but this is, again, a poorly done copy, but I was just very inspired by her. Another Leigh Ellexson. How cute are her animals? Like, I love Leigh Ellexson. If you haven't heard of her, can you please, like, fix that? Because she's amazing. I really loved that portrait. Well, just very sweet. Some more Anca Pora. You can see why I'm obsessed with her. She's so good. Her colors are so vibrant. I loved this one. And you know I can't do botanicals or florals, and I got to use my gold paint, my new metallic paint with this one. So I really loved that spread. I was so happy when I found her. Another Anca Pora, how funny. And then just an original urban sketch type thing. Still struggling. Another Anca Pora. See what I mean? These bright colors. You should see her original because it's way better, obviously. Another Anca Pora illustration. Just binging her videos, and you can tell. An original portrait. Again, just trying to get my watercolor skin tones down. I believe this is another Anca Pora. Yeah, it is. Another Anca Pora spread. I loved this raccoon that she did, and then this page made me so happy in my sketchbook. So just thanks to her so much for bringing me so much joy with her videos. Just so you understand, this is what was in the other sketchbooks and what's in the earlier part of this sketchbook, just from other YouTubers that if I don't get permission, I'm not going to just show you a straight copy. But this is a lot of what I was doing at that time, was just straight copying. This is another Anca Pora copy. I love this one. It looks like a sticker in my sketchbook. I just am obsessed with it. I love Highland cows. And that's my Da Vinci paints that I used for this painting. This is another Leigh Ellexson, poorly done, but I liked playing with the colors and just relaxing doing this one. I love red pandas, so cute. And a final Anca Pora. I have 10.5. Yes, this could have been 9 and we wouldn't have had a numbering issue. This is another Playing with Fire sticker. You'll see them all over the place. Playing with Fire is a really fun video about early financial independence and basically just learning about personal finance, which they literally don't even teach you in school. So it's a nice thing to learn. And this is another little chubby boy. This one is December 6th to January 16th, 2020 to 2021. And this is just me reminding myself you can make ugly stuff. Again, I didn't expect anyone to see this. Please give me a break. So let's see. Okay, so this one I also did, the ones I couldn't show you. So I predetermined and messed up the pages saying what I wanted to practice on each page. Sometimes I just skipped the page. Sometimes I actually did it. Complex full body poses. I liked that one. Really low pressure. I just was struggling with figuring out proportions of the body, and I thought that would be good practice. More gesture movement practice. Doggies. A little pup in a Starbucks cup, a little corgi. Corgi with a little tush showing, little German shepherd. Flowers. Sandi Hester, just discovered her and started, she was really inspirational in even having this. This was one of her exercises. Left hand, one color marker, right hand, another color marker. Draw at the same time. Blind contour. So that's a self-portrait, and that's my husband drawing me. Foreshortening practice. I really like that one. Cottages, only ended up doing one. Male faces. That's my husband. Warriors. I love that one. Fabric practice. I stink at fabric, so I wanted to specifically practice it. Faces in a value study. So basically just practicing darks and lights. Little pug. Oh. More Leigh Ellexson inspired stuff. This is a straight copy. This is more like inspired by. Do you see what I mean? She does such cute stuff. I love her. More. This is the same one, but in pencil. I just loved that one so much. I kept wanting to recreate it. This is a Mr. Musette inspired piece. Mr. Musette is another one of the artists that I follow intensely on YouTube and have for quite some time. Love his style. This is in his style, but it's not something I ever saw him do. In my feeling, this like felt like his style. This was one of those do a doodle and make it into something where you just kind of scribble, the scribble challenge. A plant. These are the Arteza brush markers that I really love. And just a little happy chameleon. Another weird spread. My dog resting his head on my leg like he always does. And then some weird people and dogs. This is a doodle of that Anca Pora painting. This is a Tio Yichi tutorial that I just did with the Arteza brush markers. He's another YouTube artist that I linked to last time, and I'll link to him again. Love him. Ooh, another Mr. Musette. Look how awesome he is. This is a straight copy. That's his style. He obviously does it way better. Please check him out. But I love his style. It's so unique, and I just wanted him in my sketchbook, so there he is. More Leigh Ellexson horrible copies that look nothing like her actual work. More faces. A fun Arteza brush pen landscape. And that's it for number 10.5. Harry Potter train stop / probably should have been named number 9, but okay, you know, we're gonna go with it. I was supposed to tell you what all of these are. So this was the Strathmore Tanned Toned A5 soft cover. This is an Arteza landscape style watercolor sketchbook. They come in packs of 2, sometimes 3. This is another Arteza sketchbook that usually comes in a pack of 2. It's sketchbook number 11, and this is the Field Artist Watercolor Journal. It's I believe a 5x5, but it could be a 6x6. And this one was from December 22nd when we ended that one to January 7th. So that was a really fast Leigh Ellexson inspired piece. Do you see what I mean by, like, you can't recreate what they really do? They're too good. Another Leigh Ellexson inspired. I love that little bird. I love the colors. Straight up Leigh Ellexson inspired piece. I used this really beautiful bronze metallic from my metallic set that I had just gotten. Arteza brush pen swatches, pretty swatches. And you know there's going to be some Anca Pora because she did videos testing her Arteza brush pens, and I had just gotten them when I found her. And this is one of her pieces. This is an original from a picture with the Arteza brush pens. I love those brush pens. They're really cool. An original little fox in like a grandma outfit. Again, I was just looking for any excuse to use my metallic paints. Another Leigh Ellexson. That's the same bunny that you've seen before, just trying to recreate it, this time on craft paper. My dog, and I was just thinking about how cute and little he is, but then I thought how he would look to a couple of little baby chicks, and I had them like in his shadow. And I really like how that came out. Leigh Ellexson landscape piece. This one, my husband was like, wow, that's really good. You're getting better. And I was like, it's not me. It's Leigh. So, I mean, that's just the reality. And these are the Ohuhu brush pens. I got the giant set of these after I got the little baby set of these. And I just used them together because they're the same art material. One has a lot of different colors. I do love this. Thank you, Leigh. I love you. This one is just an original. Again, just using any excuse to get those sparkly paints into my sketchbook. This is an original, but very heavily inspired and obviously done while watching Leigh Ellexson. But technically she didn't do this. And I was so proud of it, but I started to think at this time, all right, I'm getting better. I'm able to do stuff a lot better, but I want a style. Like, this is Leigh Ellexson's style. I want a Maggie style. You know what I mean? So almost a year ago, I started to have the where's my style struggle. I think this is inspired by Leigh Ellexson, but not an actual copy. Another one of those. A definite Leigh Ellexson copy. That's her dog. How cute is her dog? I love him. His name is Toady. He's so stinking cute. In her most recent live stream, he was like snorting and looking sad and contemplative and doing all kinds. He was doing the most. I love him. This is an Anca Pora spread. This was what I saw her do. I had just bought the vintage pastels from Prima Marketing, and I was just searching for videos on YouTube of tutorials for that palette, and that's how I found her originally. And I saved a screenshot of this to paint later after I painted a billion other of her things, and I eventually got around to painting it, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I love her. This one is Falling Water, Frank Lloyd Wright. Original face, loved her. This is on the watercolor paper side. Again, I was keeping with that hairstyle that I figured out in my Pentalic book. This is another Mr. Musette. Again, I just love him. I remember painting this, listening to different YouTube channels, and just just so relaxing. I love how he does this black filling in around the dots. It takes longer and it's just very meditative. This is another Leigh Ellexson inspired but actually original piece. I love this piece because this actually was, other than the flowers, this is very me. That animal is me. You know that. You recognize that little fluffy baby is a Maggie original. Another Leigh Ellexson inspired panda. Bouquet of flowers. I'm not good with florals. Another Mr. Musette. Do you see how cool he is? Like, I can't with him. He's so good. Leigh Ellexson painted along with her. Original in the Arteza brush pens. This is one of my favorite portraits I've ever done. I love her eyes. Very proud of that. Another Mr. Musette, little birdie. Another Mr. Musette, although I think this was a Mr. Musette inspired. I don't know that this exact one appears on his side. The face is not his style at all. So I think this was one where I was trying to do like what I do with Leigh Ellexson, where I do like an inspired by. If I paint enough of their pieces, then I try to do one that's technically mine, but in their style. Little lazy panda. And finally, a fat bird. Can't show you the rest because they're Pinterest. I don't even know who made them. And that is number 11. 12, and then we only have 2 left. This is a really thin Hahnemühle watercolor sketchbook. I just wanted to try as many brands as I could once I'd done so many Artezas. This is from January 7th to February 19th. Yeah, Hahnemühle watercolor book, 200 GSM, A5 landscape size, 30 sheets / 60 pages. This is another portrait. I'm starting to get a little better. It is really cool to do this sketchbook tour because I actually can see the improvement. Fox in brush pens. I loved this one. I love the background. I want to do this one again. Anca Pora, our friend, back again. Looks like a sticker in my sketchbook. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Anca. Couple of beautiful ladies. I absolutely adore this one. I'm starting to actually like doing portraits at this point because I stopped just messing every single one up terribly. I got my vintage pastels. I already had them when I did the Anca Pora bunny tutorial, but hadn't swatched them. So I did my little swatch page and I did another owl, this time on a coffee cup. Love owls, so cute. The landscape. This portrait, really loving doing portraits at this point, loving the way I was doing hair, the way I was doing a lot of pinks and blues in the skin tone. I did this super well-known little owl trying to escape the rain. I do him a bunch in my sketchbooks, and then just your standard tortoise. This is actually a YouTuber that I watch who lives in Sweden, but it doesn't look anything like her. But it does look like a pretty lady, and I like the background. It just doesn't look like her. This is another Leigh Ellexson. I wish I hadn't added the pen, because everything else is super cute, but that's a Leigh Ellexson copy. And this is a portrait I did with my vintage pastels that I really liked. I love the charcoal. I don't love any of the other colors. That's the only watercolor set I regret buying, but I do love that piece. More Leigh Ellexson with the vintage pastels. Another swatch session. These are my Regina's watercolors. 2 really bad, in my view, portraits. I do like that one. It's just, again, we're back to being disturbing for some reason. I don't know why. I do love the lips on that one. Love how those came out. And this one I tried doing again, and I'm going to keep trying to do it because I keep messing it up until I get better. This is a gouache painting, portrait. Now we get into Natasha Newton. I found Natasha, found her. So these are her original paintings that I just copied straight up in my sketchbook. So happy I got permission from her because I did a ton of hers. Natasha Newton. Original portrait. Wasn't supposed to be my husband, but ended up definitely looking a lot like him. Everyone thinks it's him. And this is another, I just was watching that same Swedish YouTuber and just painted that while watching her. She's not an artist. She just lives there and it's beautiful scenery. More Natasha Newton, very poorly done. We're getting into that spot again where I'm trying to like throw my flair onto it, and it always looks way worse than if I just straight up copied. Like, look how bad. This one isn't as bad, but so much fun. I still love turning to them in my sketchbook. Another Natasha Newton. She loves to do these clouds with these gorgeous watercolor effects. I love her. And this is just a cottage that I saw. These are inspired by Sandi Hester. They're original, but they're inspired by her. I just kind of started painting and I didn't outline, I didn't try to make it look like anything in particular. Really fun experiment. She always loosens me up. That's that same aspen view that I keep trying to paint and failing. This is an adorable owl. Now I'm starting to have a little bit more of a style like that. I do a lot of stuff like this in the coming sketchbooks, and I really love it. Sandi Hester, my girl. This is her original work. I just copied it from her video. This is actually her house. I loved her watercolors of her house so much that I wanted to make one. And I love how this came out. This is her painting, and it actually looks like her house, which is really cool. And that's it for number 12. It was so much fun. And those are the dates. Again, this is a giant sketchbook, so to fill it in just a few months is still, to me, very, very cool. This was a quote from a painting book I was reading at that time. Fill your oil paintings with light and color. I don't actually make oil paintings, but that was an inspiring thing. Pretty little landscape in Arteza brush pens. Little Leigh Ellexson inspired doodles. Couple more doodles, and it started getting better. Now this looks like a sausage, but this is a landscape. So funny to me. Northern Lights in Sweden, Evergreen Drive, and another version of that fun perturbed owl. Some irises, a doodle, some flowers, a snail doodle. Natasha Newton sketchbook session. I just doodled with her. She did a lot of different patterns. Some colors. She was doing luminance color palettes, and I just followed along with her. More Natasha Newton inspired color palette building. A Natasha Newton copy / inspired by, but you can tell that's her work. This is a definite copy of Natasha Newton's work, and this is why I said I started enjoying this sketchbook, because I started actually liking turning to pages. Another Natasha Newton copy. More Natasha Newton. Another Natasha Newton copy. I love this one. Even though the house looks so bad, I still really love turning to that one. This is original. Little fluffy cute animal. This is that same cottage I've drawn before. I just really like drawing that. More Natasha Newton. Birds. A Sandi Hester. That's her dog. That's her studio. I wonder if she's watching, if she can tell that that's a doodle of her studio. I was just watching every single one of her videos in a row. Another Sandi Hester doodle. That's her workspace. That's her stained glass. A little owl. Love owls. A little what I'm using spread. Those are fun to put in your sketchbook. Using colors I don't like. I actually made this after I did the first page. This is like the halfway mark. I like to fill in the halfway mark just to feel like a giant sketchbook isn't so intimidating. This is one that I've actually shown in a prior video. Like that little landscape. This is this was an everyday objects sketchbook challenge. So that was my phone, my notebook, my Burt's Bees. This is a Dingbat's notebook, a green one. Sandi Hester sayings in this video that I'm playing while I draw. She was saying, "Yowzers, hot doggity." She's so funny. I love her accent. And this is one of her, this is that same still life that I painted in another one. I just really liked it, so I did it in here too, probably at the same time. Just a crayon doodle. This is when I got some oil pastels, totally influenced by Sandi Hester. These are the really cheap ones. The Pentel oil pastels are like 10 bucks. And just did my swatching. That's just a piece of parchment paper. This was a sketchbook challenge. You were supposed to draw a message. So I was very influenced by Natasha Newton to do a pretty bird in her sort of style, except in markers, which I stink at. doodling a pattern. Rhythm from my sketchbook challenge. This was when I was taking that Sandi Hester, Melanie Chadwick sort of 3-episode course where they showed you how to loosen up, and the, you know, different color markers, one in each hand again. That's my studio. Simple Pleasures. Another Sandi Hester. I really like that one, actually. Again, if I'm watching her on YouTube, then I'll just draw her while I'm watching. That's a little owl. Love that owl. Another little house. I had pre-painted the background on this one. That's sometimes something that I would do. This is actually my childhood home from memory. Again, I was watching a Sandi Hester. I was just binging Sandi Hester at this point, and she was doing an art challenge. I was doing a different art sketchbook challenge from a book I was reading from the library, but she was doing a sketchbook challenge with her friends on Zoom. And one of her challenges was to draw her childhood home from memory. So I thought that was a really cool idea, and I did that too. Cornwall, because once she turned me on to Melanie Chadwick, I was watching a lot of Melanie Chadwick videos. And she's in Cornwall, so I was just drawing that. Another one. This is another Sandi Hester kind of thing. She went to a Frida Kahlo exhibit, and so I just doodled along with her video. Blind contour of 2 men's faces. Loving on my tombos. This is just a color spread. Panera blind contour with both hands. So 2 hands, you can see 2 colors of green, left, right. Really funny. Just a picture from Cornwall. Male head. Willem Dafoe. Hands. And then just some final swatching. And that's it for Sketchbook 13. Sketchbook 14, the last one for today. This is a Strathmore softcover Series 500 mixed media sketchbook. I love this one. I've bought another one that I'm excited to use. February 21st, 2021 through April 4th. And I did a lot of painting in this one. So I love this painting. Lot of texture. Loved that one. Love my little owl. Love this little bunny. So cute. Bunny in a barn. I love the texture on the barn. Gorgeous woman. I loved this one. So far, these are all original. This one is a Sandi Hester. So she had a video where she went through her watercolor paintings, and she's talking about how her mom loves them and a lot of people love them and they don't know why she doesn't do them anymore, but she didn't love them. And I was with her mom. I loved them and I wanted to recreate them. Sorry, Sandi. This is actually my logo. This was my favorite original owl that I'd ever done. And I really felt like, okay, this isn't inspired by anything. It's not based on anything. This is just from my head. It's just me. And that's why it's my logo, because I'm so proud of that, of finally breaking through that, like having some semblance of a style for yourself, another original owl. This is actually an original, but it's clearly inspired by Sandi Hester's watercolor style. This is that same Cornwall painting, but that I did in my cheap sketchbook, but I did a big version. Another funny owl. This one is really cool if you look at the texture. Like, look at all the crazy texture in this. I love turning to this page I love this sketchbook. This was when I really started like feeling like I'd done something to improve. Like something had changed. Here's just a picture I'd taken during Aspen's changing season. Same Frida Kahlo Sandi Hester piece that she had done. I painted some black gesso for the first time and drew these with my Caran d'Ache colored pencils, or my Prismacolor, I can't remember, but this is basically something she did in her sketchbook and I did it along with her. Couple of ugly birds, watching Natasha Newton and failing. Very cute owl. And a little guinea pig that I didn't even remember I'd made. This pretty lady in watercolor. These two, again, while watching Sandi Hester and kind of trying to translate that looseness from my cheap sketchbook to this fancy one, and I just wasn't able to do it. I like this one. More owls. I love this spread. This guy's in colored pencil with the Arteza real brush pens, and this one's in watercolor. Peter draws. That does not look like him, but I was really inspired by him with the fountain pens at that time. This is actually when I got my first ever fountain pen. I had a gold body medium nib Pilot Metropolitan. Little owl, so cute. Couple of whales. Another fun, just relaxed landscape. And that's it. So that's it for number 14. That actually wraps up episode 2, the middle years, the middle months of our sketchbook tour. And tune in for episode 3 to see the most recent work, which should be the best. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment letting me know what your favorite part was. And until next time, remember, create something cute.